Welcome to Ultimate Par-fection. Episode 1, The Mission.
Okay, here I am at Cowrie Cliffs for round 1 of my quest to shoot an even par round. This is where the journey begins. That's me, a 32-year-old Aussie with a 12.5 handicap and a Tony Robbins level of optimism to achieve one goal. One round of even par. Sounds ridiculous when I say it out loud. I mean, is it really optimism or is it really delusion? I wasn't quite sure, so I asked one of my closest mates, Josh, who knows my golf game as well as anyone, for his opinion.
Do you think I can shoot a round of even par?
Yes.
How long do you think it will take?
What's your current handicap?
12.5.
12.5. Okay, it's coming down. I think 18 months.
Okay, so you think
With
by end of 2023?
I think with the resources you have around, your short game ability, because you are a very good chipper and putter, and that's a massive part of it. I think it would take you 18 months.
Okay, so that's a good
round.
That's a good deadline for me to have. So I'm going to say by the end of 2023, I'm saying it right now, you're hearing it first. End of 2023, I will have at least one round of even par.
Okay, but what about you? Do you think that's achievable?
I think that's achievable. Yeah, like you said, I've got the resources at my disposal and working at a golf course now, and there's a driving range, so I can get out, especially coming into summer. I think I'll be able to get out after work and hit a lot of balls and really work on my fundamentals to try and get down. I think I just need to work on my wedges. Sort of hitting more greens in regulation will be a big factor for me. And a few other things.
Plus it's a confidence thing, isn't it? So by you kind of saying that you think you can do it, now it all of a sudden becomes achievable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, we've played a lot of rounds of golf, so I feel like you would know my round better than most people. So, it's not going to be easy, but
I also know you do cope very well under pressure after those match play losses that I've had from you.
Oh, absolutely.
I think, maybe 15, 16 months down the line where you are 1-2 over par with a couple of holes to go, I think you can hold it together and maybe get a birdie going in. So
perfect. All right, great. And then we'll have to have some serious match plays where it's just we're going off the stick, because I know you're a better golfer than me at the moment, and I'm going to try and get better than you. So if I can get down to those single figures where we can play match play off the stick where there's no handicap involved, then there's going to be some high stakes and good fun.
Oh mate, the day you beat me off the stick is going to be a traumatizing day for me. but I know it could happen.
Yeah, so, that's right.
Yeah. Well,
perfect.
Because I was Josh Golf, right, at the at the summer camp back in the day.
So if I can beat Josh Golf at his own game, that's checkmate.
You become Jack Golf, and then I'm just Josh.
Yeah, you become Josh Chess.
Yeah, Josh Chess.
And that's it.
Oh man.
This belief from Josh was all I needed to start documenting my journey. I have a deadline set and I'm brimming with confidence. Although during our conversation, Josh did bring up a good question.
Okay, so here's a question. Like, how hard does the course have to be? Like, going to be at any golf course? Going to be at a par, it can be a pitch and putt? Can it be at a par 70, a par 65? Or does it have to be a par 70, 71, 72, or have a certain slope rating?
It definitely can't be a pitch and putt. That's cheating. It has to be a legitimate 18-hole golf course. It can't be 2 rounds of 9 either. It has to be a full 18-hole round. And I think, I played at Roseville. That's a par 67, but it's not that easy. So I don't know if it needs to be a certain length, but maybe a slope rating.
I think Roseville would count, but somewhere like Bardwell Valley
does not count.
Does not count.
Yeah, that's absolute
Yeah.
hack city.
which is a par like 63. Like, over half the holes are par threes. So that doesn't kind of,
So, well, maybe a minimum slope rating of 115 or something like that. Is that a regular from the whites? Is that a bit low?
115 is good.
115.
No,
Okay.
no. I think the average. Oh, you have to quote me on this. I think I looked into this the other day because I was looking at Ben's course, and I think I needed to add a slope rating to it, and I think the average slope rating was around 120 or something like that. I'll do a bit of research and get back to you. So maybe we find just like the average golf course slope rating, and then it has to be that or harder.
That's good. I like that. Set some boundaries.
Yeah, 100%.
Upon further research, there isn't really a clear answer for the average course slope rating, with some websites saying 120 and others saying 113. So, for the purposes of this challenge, 115 sounds like a solid median. And with that, the parameters have been set. So, I wasted no time getting onto the course the following day, which is where this podcast kicked off. It's me standing on the first tee box. Here's some snippets I took from around the course. And apologies for the audio quality. I was doing my best not to get blown away out there. Come on, wind. I hit that exactly where I wanted to, hoping the wind would bring that right to left, but it stayed out to the right. Okay, it's about probably 160 to the front. I had an okay lie from the fescue, and I've hit a 7-iron, and that is back of the green. I am thrilled with that. It's probably about 14 feet from the pin. Putting for birdie on hole 1. This is great. Ooh, almost. Take that tap in par. Let's go on to the next. Hole 2, 371 meter par 4, and I've piped my drive. It is a little bit downwind on this one, still right to left, but there is a bit of wind assistance, slight downhill, and it's past the 100 meter stick, and it's looking good. I'm center fairway, probably about 70 meters out from the greens. Let's try to stick this close, give myself another chance at birdie. Okay, I didn't have as much roll as I would have liked, so I was 90 to the front. Just hit my 54 wedge, and it's bounced on the green. It is now pin high, and I've got myself probably a 7-foot putt for birdie here. This is a dream start because I don't really like these first 2 holes, so if I can get this one in, get to 1 under through 2, I will be ecstatic. Turn. Pushed it too high. Anyway, another tap in par, even through 2. 2 holes in, 2 greens in regulation, even par. It's a strong start. This course isn't easy. It's 138 slope rating from the whites. And if I was testing myself from the Tiger tees, it's 144, playing at 6,500 meters. So I'm not going to trouble myself with that and lose 10 balls in my round. I'm going from the whites, which is already challenging enough for a 12.5 handicapper. But I'm just going to press pause on my round for now, and I'll jump back into that towards the end of the podcast. But for now, I'm going to give you a bit of a breakdown on where my game is at the moment through a self-assessment. The way I'm going to do this is by comparing myself against golfers of a similar ability to me, anywhere in that 10 to 14 handicap range, and see how different aspects of my game, like driver, irons, approach shots, chipping, bunker play, and putting, stack up against theirs. This, I think, will help me gauge where I think I'm at compared to them. So I'll start with the driving, and I would say I'm probably average give myself maybe a 7 out of 10 for that. And that is something that I've really worked on, in particular probably the last 6 months. It's got a lot better. A lot of my misses were going right, and that was from the driver. So that is something that I have worked on, and I'm getting a lot more consistency with the driver and finding a lot more fairways with it, which, geez, it helps your game dramatically if you can just put yourself in a good position off the tee, both mentally and on the scorecard. It's a much better feeling being able to stand over the ball with your driver and just feel confident knowing that you're going to smoke one down the middle and feel good about it, rather than, I better aim this one about 30 meters left and hope that I have that natural little bit of slice so it finds the middle of the fairway, and then to your surprise it goes dead straight and you find yourself left, or it goes further right than you expected and you end up right. So I'd say 7 out of 10 average. Irons, I would say, is probably my strong point. If I'm being honest, that is a strong point of my game. I would say in comparison to similar golfing handicaps to me, I would give myself maybe an 8.5 for the irons. I can hit them pretty long. Ball striking is generally pretty good, and starting to get a lot more sort of workability with the irons as well. If there's a howling wind, I can try to keep it lower and sort of punch it up there. Getting a little bit more of a draw, the fades. That's something that I'm working on at the moment, and getting a bit more consistent with that. I think that's the main thing. Like, I feel like I can hit a lot of these shots, but it's being able to replicate it on the course and do it with consistency that separates the top players from the average players. So, 8.5 for the irons. For the wedges, so let's go with like approaches. So everything in the wedges from the pitching pretty much. So 50 meters to 110, 120 meters out. That is my Achilles heel. I am definitely below average for that. And look, I can't even blame the clubs. I got fitted for new Vokeys last year. So I've got these beautiful Vokey SM8s and they're fantastic, but clearly I haven't learned how to use them properly yet because they are not consistent for me at all. And I'd give myself maybe a 3 out of 10 for the wedges. It's whether it's being able to stick the green or I don't know. It's funny. Like, it's sometimes you'll get a shank off the hosel or hitting it fat. And for me, everyone has their own differences and opinions in here, but I would say that is probably the most frustrating thing in golf. Like, if you hit a perfect drive down the middle, a fairway finder, you are 80 meters out from the pin, and then all of a sudden you're standing over the ball thinking, yep, I'm going to stick the green here, get myself, within that 10 feet range and give myself a look at birdie, even an outside chance at birdie if it's, 30 feet, whatever. At least I'll be on the green, 2-putt, walk away with a par onto the next and happy days. But then you stand over it, you catch that leading edge into the turf and you chunk it and it goes 20 meters. That is the most infuriating thing in golf. Like, I think it's worse than 3-putting. I think it's worse than chunking any other shot. I think it's worse than, going out of bounds off the tee. That is annoying, but I think the most frustrating thing is when you've put yourself in a good position, you're in the fairway, and then you chunk or you stuff up your approach shot. That's what really kills me mentally, and my scorecard too. So that is definitely a part of the game that I need to work on and will focus on pretty soon. especially it's not even just finding the greens. It's also I want to be able to get that ball to sort of stop on a dime and get it checking on the green. So a lot of the time, like the course that I'm playing at now in New Zealand, I will generally have to hit my wedges onto the front half of the green, knowing that it's going to run a few meters out. Whereas I want to get better at these approach shots in that I can, really, really like, squeeze the ball and get that backspin on it. So when it does bounce on the green, it's going to be within that ballpark, or even get it to spin back to you a little bit. And then that way you can just have a bit more accuracy when you are trying to do the pin seeking, and you are getting to that level where you are going at the pin rather than just going at the green, which is a lot of the time what I'm trying to do at the moment. So yeah, wedges, definitely top priority for me. I've got like chipping around the green. Probably like a 6 out of 10. Yeah, maybe average for that. I feel like I've got relatively soft hands, and it's really about shot selection. I think anyone who's around a 12 handicap can chip around the greens and do it reasonably comfortably. It's just being smart and course management. So, sometimes you might have to do a little bump and run rather than trying to hit a lovely little chip or a flop shot and trying to be the hero. It might not look pretty, but if that's going to get me a par and an easy putt to try and save par, then I'll take that 10 out of 10 rather than trying to do a lovely little pitch or a short chip onto the green and risk sort of thinning it through, or maybe it'll go in, but you never know. You could still get it with a bump and run, or playing a smarter shot. So that's, I don't think for me it's really the ability to play it. It's when to play it and being smarter in what to play. So I'll give myself middle of the pack for that. Bunkers. So greenside bunkers. Probably like a 7.5, slightly above average for that. I don't really fear greenside bunkers. They're not. Yeah, I mean, sometimes obviously every course is different. Some are more challenging than others, but I don't feel intimidated if I find myself in a greenside bunker. Fairway bunkers, a little bit different. I find them a bit more challenging. So they're a little bit, maybe it's a mindset thing. I don't know. But greenside bunkers, generally speaking, I'm fairly okay with. So in comparison to another 12 handicapper, I'd say I'm slightly above average. And putting. Ooh, I'd probably give myself a 6 for putting. But if I was going to break it down into long and short putts, I'd probably say long putting might be a 7, and then the short putts would be a 5. Yeah, it's the long putts. It's not too bad for me. I don't mind them. It's kind of getting into that 6 foot range. And then it's just trying to drain those ones that are inside 6 feet. So you're going to have quite a lot of those in a round. You might have 13 or 14. Let's say you have 14 putts within 6 feet in a round. You should be aiming to get 12 of those in, I would say. At the moment, maybe I'm getting 9. So that's 3 shots already that you can improve on. You just need to work on those short putts and trying to not focus on where the ball's going and just trusting your instinct and trusting your line. That ball's going to end up in its home. I'm going to hear the sound of the ball dropping into the cup. I just need to keep my focus straight down, make sure I have a nice, steady, smooth putting stroke, and I'll get the result. If I look up early, I'm going to pull it left, 3 putt, and there's likely to be some choice words said on the green. Maybe even a putter throw. Who knows? But no one likes a 3-putt. Very frustrating. Puts you in a terrible mindset moving into the next tee box. Anyway, that's golf. We love it, don't we? So that's probably where I'm at with my different repertoire of shots and where I need to improve. So obviously you can improve with everything in every aspect of your game. But what I think I'm going to be focusing on initially is going to be my wedges. That is the one thing where I think I can really make some ground in cutting down my scores and trying to get down to that elusive 72 number, and try and get a score of even par. Time to jump back into the round. Now, the audio on holes 3 and 4 was terrible. It was blowing Chris Gale out there, and I'll spare you the trouble. It was bogey going right on the third, index 18. It's pretty straightforward, short par 4. Went right, dug deep into the fescue. Did the best I could, but fell short of the green. Chipped it on to the front and 2-putted. I had to race up to my ball, which was near the flag because the wind was about to push it off the green, and it's not even a sloped green. So that was the third, and then fourth, followed that up with another bogey. So, and to add to the misfortune, I took an extra club down with me for the fourth because the fairway was a little bit wet. So I took an extra club and put that down in some duck poo. And when I picked up my club, my hand and the club was covered in duck poo, just to compile the misfortunes of having a bad lie in the fescue on 2 consecutive holes with that. So, I mean, they say bad things come in 3, so that was the 3. Or at least that's what I thought. Here comes the next hole, hole 5. Oh, this is savage. Hole 5. It's the shortest hole in the course, little drop shot par 3, 128 downhill, but the pin is right at the front, tucked in just in behind a pot bunker at the front of the green. This is all downwind. I've got my lob wedge and hoping I can just land it right on the fringe of the front and get it to trickle down there, but if I can even just hit the green, I'll be happy here. Yep, it's in that pot bunker guarding the front of the green. Fantastic. 0 green to work with. So as I drove down to the green, thinking about what I'm going to do with my bunker shot, how I'm going to get it to stop right at the front of the green while it's a big lip to get out, I grabbed my wedge, walked down to the green, and could not find my ball for the life of me. It was not in the bunker. It was not in the back right bunker. It was nowhere to be found. And I've played this course a couple of times now, and this is the second time I've been out in this area and the second time I've lost my ball. So I was just looking everywhere for this ball, and from now on, this area is going to be dubbed as Area 51 because whatever goes in there, nothing comes out. It's just a Bermuda Triangle, if you will. So from there, this is where my round really collapsed because I had to take a drop from a lost ball. And to spare you the details, the back 9 wasn't great. I couldn't really improve on my score, especially with the conditions. And I finished with an 88, 16 over par. But round 1 is in the books. That's where I'm at. Obviously, a lot of room for improvement, but I'm feeling quietly confident with where my game's at the moment, and I know what I need to improve and what I need to focus on. I'm just going to be a sponge for the next few months, absorbing as much information as I can and hitting a ton of balls on the driving range to try and improve every aspect of my game. And then by doing so and grinding away, I hope to achieve my goal of shooting a round of even par. So that wraps up episode 1 of Ultimate Perfection. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I really appreciate the support. Shout out to Cody for helping me get started and to Josh for being involved and holding me accountable to my goal. Please subscribe and review this show on whatever platform you get your podcast from. Share with your wannabe professional golfer friends and follow along on Instagram at Ultimate Par-fection. Until next time, I'll catch you later.